Hello, everybody. You're sure to get used to this. I'm getting fewer and fewer uh, views, so maybe we ought to just form a little group in Skype, and I'll show you what I'm turning up this time. Now, this is one of the most extraordinary things that my family has owned, and my grandfather purchased these in 1912. And they have remained literally spotless um, in that since that time, with the one exception that the binding on the 10-volume set. My mother thought she was doing me a great favor. She gave me the books that were her father's when I graduated with my master's degree in axiology, and she had them rebound with my name on it. Now that probably cut the value of these down considerable, but everything in them is, well, the binding, I'll show you, the bindings were falling apart. But it comes in two series. One is a 16 leaflet, each leaflet advertised as a separate entity, a separate story on itself of photographs that were found that belonged to Matthew Brady. Now, Brady was the biggest photographer in the Civil War. He photographed a lot of the South and the North, and some very gruesome scenes after battles and all. And he has almost everybody above a major. I guess there's a picture of him in here, a number of pictures of Lincoln, and and a number of Lee and Grant and everybody else. But it's the most amazing story that these photographs that were finished well from 1861 to 1865 were lost. They were found in the attic of a house in the early 1900s, so that they were gathered together, printed, and put into these pamphlets I'm going to show you, the 16 separate stories, in 1912. And had that house burned down or something, we'd have had none of these photographs. But yet, I'll bet you 9 out of 10 of the photographs you see of the Civil War and generals from the Civil War were taken by this gentleman and were found in that attic. So let's proceed. Now, what I am looking for is these pamphlets I'm going to show you. There's 16 of them. Were put out as separate stories to advertise, which I'm trying to say, these 10 volumes of the Civil War, which I'll show you in a minute. Now, this company is from Massachusetts. The publisher from of the 10 volume set, and these are all first editions, by the way, was from New York, but they operated under the copyright of this publisher, the Patriot Publishing Company of Massachusetts. Okay, let's proceed. Now, what I'm asking for, any of you old codgers like me, or you young whippersnappers, please, by all means, I found, as I said, I found a page by page, a site where they go through every page in these 16 volumes. Every single page that you can flip through, one page at a time. And the story goes along with it. But that's all they have. They don't have any for sale. They don't have any, I'd like to carry around all them clothes. They don't have any place where you can procure these. I've looked on every other possible site on pictures of the Civil War, and each book starts out with a color print. That the last one was copyrighted 1901. So these are imaginary prints that were done at a later date. Now, of course, all the photographs, they were all done at the, they were taken live. Look at that train. That's a cow catcher, ain't it? But as you see, I won't bother going into all of them. But there's 16 of them, and they are in just absolutely terrific condition. So all I have to do is keep them away from my crazy cousin who has no respect for books at all. But I'm assuming that these should have some very decent and high value, because of the simple fact that this kind of material, if it's used hardly at all, deteriorates very readily. But these are in, I mean, just, I would say, considering they're, what would you say, 1912, so they're 104 years old. They're in excellent shape. Now let's get to the volumes. See, I guess you can read that. Photographic History of the Civil War by Miller. Miller's not the photographer. He's the one that compiled them. But they are just amazing. Page after page after general, storyline after storyline of what was going on at the time, and they're basically in chronological order. But it's amazing. You name a general, and I'll bet that general can be found in the covers of these 10 volumes. The hell volume is this? Oh, volume 9. See, that's what my mother did. It was very kind of her, very nice of her. And the bindings were crackling like crazy. All this part was disintegrating. And then she had them done in leather. I mean, it's very nice of her. It cost her $350. So it was no small deal in those days. And as I said, these were a present to me, rebound. These were a present to me when I graduated. Who the hell is this guy? Oh, that's Lee. One picture, General Lee. And the quality of the pictures is excellent. But there we go. Look at the size of those cannonballs. Oh my God. Can you imagine them things? That's kind of dirt and shit they tore up. Who's this? Is this Lincoln? Early shot of Lincoln. No wonder he grew a beard, huh? But almost any shot you'll find of the Civil War and of Lincoln and Grant and Lee was taken by this guy, Brady. Unbelievable set. And anybody interested in the Civil War, if they'd like to Skype me and they'd like to take a closer look, I'd be more than happy to Skype with them. But I don't want to run this too long. But if anybody can help me, here's the Civil War through the camera. Part 1. Here's the people that put it out. I don't know if that Skype's going to do it. This one. Patriot Publishing Company, Springfield, Massachusetts. And then, of course, the 10 volumes with literally thousands of photographs that actually could have been lost forever if that house had caught on fire or something. Put out by the Publisher's name here. The one in, no, it's by the Review of Reviews. Someday, I should hire somebody that knows what they're doing. Filming and these things would be excellent, and I'd get into double digits on my viewership. But anyway, if you're interested in the Civil War, this is the most complete photographic history ever assembled anywhere. And all first edition and all in mint condition. So please, if you know anything about them, or you know anybody that would be interested in them, please send me a comment. Yeah. Thank you very much.